Our next panelist is James Lambert, the Director General for Latin America and the Caribbean at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Canada. Mr. Lambert, you have the floor.
Pues muchas gracias, Víctor, y los demás miembros de este panel tan distinguido. Es un placer acompañarlos en este día en la discusión de un asunto que es de tanto importancia para mi gobierno. Dos asuntos que son no solamente la seguridad en la región, pero la plena incorporación de las voces de la sociedad civil en su discusión. It's been a tremendous pleasure for me as the Director General overlooking Canada's policy with Latin America to coincide with a period of activity where the government of Stephen Harper, our Prime Minister, has put an additional emphasis on Latin America. The recent appointment of a Minister of State for Latin America has allowed us to increase our activism on questions of importance touching on security in the region, including recent events, indeed ones that we're discussing today about the situation that prevails in Honduras. As many of you will know, that vision that we're bringing forward is one that revolves around the interrelated and critical pillars of economy, prosperity, democratic governance, and security. And of course, as with any three-legged stool, if you take away any one of those pillars, it's not going to be sustainable, and nowhere is that more the case than in the discussion of security. In operationalizing this approach, our government has very much factored in a strategy which is built around partnerships. It's partnerships on a bilateral level with other governments in the region, partnerships on a multilateral level with the Organization of American States, with sub-regional entities, which are very important to us in driving forward our shared objectives in the region. But I would say, very critically, in terms of leveraging our ability to do so, the ability to work with partners outside of government, members of civil society, whether in the private sector, whether in academia, whether in civil society organizations writ large, is a very important element of our strategic ability. And I think many people in this room are familiar with the importance that Canada has attached to civil society engagement in the OAS. So in addressing these issues and reflecting on the importance of security, I recall that 2 weeks ago I was accompanying our national security advisor to the Prime Minister, Madame Mary-Lucie Morin, on a trip that encompassed Colombia, Guatemala, and Panama. And the latter stop was intended to launch a new Canadian Center for Regional Peace and Security. So importantly, it's evident that we're dedicating and deploying additional diplomatic resources in the field to try and work with partners on the evolving problematique around security issues in the region. Like the OAS, Canada believes very much that a multidimensional definition to security problems as embodied in the Declaration on Security in the Americas is an important way to go forward. This is an agenda that has a broad implication for good governance in the region, and because in our view insecurity has a very real potential to erode the hard-earned democratic gains in the region. Equally, from Canada's perspective, civil society participation has to continue to be a cornerstone to our efforts to promote and strengthen democracy in the region. This was seen very much in the Declaration of Commitment at Port of Spain, adopted at the 5th Summit of the Americas, which recognized specifically the importance of civil society engagement in the Inter-American system, and the constructive role is also recognized in the Inter-American Democratic Charter. So we firmly believe in enhancing regional security and stability is going to lead to a safer, more secure, democratic, and prosperous hemisphere. And we believe that this needs to be a collective effort going well beyond governments to engage all of the stakeholders, particularly the regional organizations and civil society. So let me take just a moment to talk about how Canada's security engagement with the OAS and the Inter-American system plays out. And of course, as you know, security is engaged through the OAS in a number of manners. The first being a commitment to play an active role within the OAS's committee structures. And here, as in the others that I'm going to enumerate, civil society can play an important role. The second is targeted voluntary contributions to specialized OAS security bodies. The third, active participation in security-related ministerial meetings. And the fourth is support to special OAS missions in support of peace and security. All of them, as I mentioned before, are susceptible to the inclusion of civil society. Donc, j'aimerais commencer en touchant la structure des comités de l'OEA, en disant que pour Canada, nous appuyons les initiatives adoptées à l'OEA visant à accroître l'attention accordée aux questions de sécurité dans le programme hémisphérique et nous déployons des efforts considérables à cet égard. En tant que présidente actuelle du comité de l'OEA sur la sécurité continentale, nous accueillons favorablement les suggestions et les contributions des spécialistes gouvernementaux et non gouvernementaux. Deuxièmement, j'aimerais toucher les contributions ciblées en faveur d'organismes spécialisés. Une grande partie de la coopération de l'OEA dans le domaine de la sécurité est possible seulement grâce à les contributions ciblées volontairement. Le Canada fait sa part, il reconnaît et soutient les contributions importantes qu'apportent à notre sécurité collective les organismes de l'OEA, notamment la Commission interaméricaine de la lutte contre les drogues, ou CICAD, et le Comité interaméricain contre le terrorisme, ou CICTE. En outre, nous collaborons avec l'OEA en tant que principal organisme régional de coordination pour l'action contre les mines terrestres dans les Amériques. Nous avons